people would, whenever we met with officials, they would say, well, you guys are always thinking conspiracies. We had reason to think in that direction because we did our own work pushing an arson squad that was developed in the South Bronx, and because some of the policemen had gone to the same school, your school, Connolly's High School, they were friendly with some of our priests and stuff because they went to the same school together. So they gave us information, I think, and they didn't realize what they were giving us. They told us that the arson squad had a guy already placed in Hunts Point. And I went in one day to the church that was empty, and the arson squad was there. And the man he was a freckle-faced, red-haired man sitting in the middle of the church. Supposed to be undercover. And not able to be an undercover agent and looking like that. But this lack of investigation, and one of the documents that we got was a whole explanation of the advantages of the Hunts Point area as being a new factory area for the development of jobs, industry, because they were having difficulty at this point, manufacturers moving out of New York. And looking at what the paper said, great land base, you could build on it. Secondly, transportation, Bruckner Boulevard, New York State Thruway, Cross Bronx Expressway, all made it easier. Even Tiffany Street Pier, big ocean liners could come in, freighters could come in there. And so this whole area was worth keeping and developing. And so if people lived there, they could do it. So can we prime the pump and get people moving out? At the same time, the concourse, people from the concourse were moving up to Co-op City. There were many, many different factors, as Aurelio Cardona had said, that movement that were taking place. And so we formed our own little arson squad. And it was a group that came together to fight the conditions that were difficult in the South Bronx, to fight the poverty that was there, to fight the winters that we had suffered under. I didn't suffer, I had heat and hot water. But people went for a year. I remember people on 2nd Avenue, you walked into an apartment and you saw people with blankets the whole year, walking around and say, when the kids were there, or even asking the people, and they had typewriters, say, can you type? I can't type, it's too cold, my hands are frozen. To go a whole year with that. And we went to politicians and we said, please make a law. Please, and it came out to be the emergency repair law. And the emergency repair law was a law that said if the landlord will not fix the boiler or whatever, we'll send in somebody to do it and the landlord will be billed. Prior to that, you wouldn't have to give heat. Made, as Aurelio had said in the screen, made loads of money from it, all kinds of tax loopholes. That was, I will contend that that was one of the great reasons why the fires took place and why people were not investigated. A lot of money. Even to the point where people who worked in the South Bronx, it might have been policemen or firemen, were able to go to a ministry school and get that they were ministers of some, maybe go to a course for a day and say they were legitimate ministers, buying a building and not knowing anything about the building, and then dumping the building, and as Ari had said, this whole tax structure, being able to make off it, and other people using it as a write-off because they might have owned a factory somewhere else, and claiming damage, and they were losing money on this whole thing.